So for this lesson, we're going to talk about corresponding parts and scale factors of scale drawings. First, we're going to find each of these expressions mentally because it's going to help us determine what the scale factor is. 1/4 times 20, if we change this into 20 over 1, we can multiply the numerators to get 20, multiply the denominators to get 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. Also know that multiplying by 1/4 is the same thing as if I was to divide by 4. So I could have just done 20 divided by 4 to give me 5. 44 times 1/4, since it's 1/4, that's the same thing as dividing by 4, so that would be 11. 1/3 times 63, I can change that to be 63 times 1/3, so it's the same thing as 63 divided by 3 to give me 21. And the last one, 90 times 1/6, is the same thing as 90 divided by 6, and 90 divided by 6 gives me 15. Now, we're going to use these two figures. We have the original and two copies, and we're going to talk about the corresponding parts. Corresponding parts are parts meaning angles and sides that are in the same spot on our drawings. So if we look at point P in our original, point P is on this bottom right corner, so that will correspond to point F in copy 1 and point Z in copy 2 because they fall in the same spot. Segment LM, that's a line, so LM is on this slice on the left and it's the bottom part, so that will correspond to segment BC and to segment VW. Now segment EF is in the bottom slice and it's on the right in copy 1. So that will correspond to OP in the original and YZ in copy 2. Point W is on the left-hand slice and it's the bottom corner. So that will correspond to point C in copy 1 and to point M in the original. Angle KLM. So the angle KLM, you have to use 3 letters when you're naming an angle. So we have KLM, which is this angle. So that's the angle on the left. That's going to correspond to angle ABC in copy 1. And then the slice here with the angle for copy 2 would be angle UVW. And then angle XYZ in copy 2 is our bottom angle. So that would correspond to angle CEF or DEF in copy 1 and angle NOP in our original. Now we're going to talk specifically about copy 1 because copy 1 is a scaled copy of my original. The reason why it's a scale copy is because it got bigger, it got smaller in all dimensions. It got shorter and it got more narrow. Now if we were to use the trace paper to compare the corresponding angles, so that means angle KLM and angle ABC, if we use trace paper, we would see that they are the same measure. And same with angle NOP and angle DEF, those corresponding angles are the same measure. And if I compared my original, so angle KLM, to angle UVW in my copy 2, which is not a scale copy, we would find that they are not the same measure. And same with angle NOP and angle XYZ, they are not the same. Now here's triangle O, and we want to find all the triangles that are scaled copies. When you have scaled copies, just like we talked about before, so for scaled copies, the angles, the corresponding angles, are all equal. So if we look at angle O, we have a right angle here. Angle A, or triangle A, does not have a right angle, so I know that that's not going to be a scale copy. So this has no right angle. And same with F. F has no right angle. So if I look at triangle B stayed exactly the same, so that would be a scaled copy. Triangle C, I noticed it became taller, and it also became narrower. Since those are opposite directions, that would not be a scaled copy. Triangle D, everything got cut in half. So it went from half of 4 is 2, 5 over 2 is half, and 3 over 2, that's 1.5. So triangle D is a scaled copy. E, everything got bigger by multiplied by 2, so E is a scaled copy. G, I noticed that I went from 4 to 8 over 3, so that's 4 times 2/3. If I did 5 times 2/3, that's 10 over 3, and 3 times 2/3 is 2, so G is a scaled copy. And H, 2 and 2, those are the same, but it was 4 and 3. Those can't be the same, so that is not a scaled copy. So now, if we look at this table, we're going to see what the dimensions are and see how they compare. So we have triangle D, E, B, and G. For triangle D, my dimensions were 3 over 2, 2, and 5 over 2. For E, we had 6, 8, and 10. B, we had 3, 4, and 5. And G, we had 2, 8 over 3, and 10 over 3. So I'm going to see what I multiplied by. To go from my original to D, I multiplied by 1/2. To go from my original to E, I multiplied by 2. My original to B, I multiplied by 1. And my original to G, I multiplied by 2/3. These numbers, the 1, 1/2, 2, and 2/3, those are referred to as my scale factors. So your scale factor is what you multiply the original image by to get your scaled copy. And if we wanted to find our scale factor using a nice formula, our scale factor is just going to be the new length, whatever your new image is, divided by the original length.